Hello there, welcome to Football Everyday. I'm Zach, and in the studio with me, we've got the usual Football Everyday crew. We've got Daryl, Go, Brian.
Morning.
Tell you what, lads, what an amazing night's worth of football. But before we get into the chat, I just want to give our competition a wee shout out. Now, viewers and footy fans alike, stand yourself a chance to walk away with a pair of the latest Adidas Battle Pack footwear worth up to 800 ringgit, as well as some dining vouchers from Sold Out. Now, if you want to get your hands on all that swag, it's really simple. Just send your most wacky and creative photo or video selfies of you and your pals enjoying the World Cup. Email it to football@thestar.com.my. Alternatively, you can also tweet us at switchup.tv. Please make sure you include your name, IC, full address, and we'll get all that swag to you. All right? Simple stuff. Well, last night saw three amazing matchups served up from Group A and B. Some amazing results. Obviously, the pick of the results has to be that amazing matchup between Spain and the Netherlands. Now, lads, the game of the tournament happened last night already, and it's just day two. The Spanish, they were humbled and humiliated by Holland. It's truly the Spanish Inquisition there, Brian.
Yeah, I mean, who would have thought worthwhile staying up to watch a fantastic game? Probably the match of the tournament so far. Yeah. First half, Spain looked like they were on course for a good victory, but Holland, I mean, revenge for the 2010 World Cup final.
And what revenge as well. Well, Daryl, you actually had a great point saying that, up to the 40-minute mark, Spain were actually in it, right? Had Silva scored, it'd be 2-0.
I mean, Spain were actually stretching, Holland apart. Just basically, doing their whole tiki-taka business. And if David Silva had put in that chip, it would have been 2-0, and it could have been a whole different story there. But as you said, Van the man.
Cometh the man, cometh the hour. Now, Brian, I know you're a big fan of Van Persie, him being a United player. And now, if he's in that kind of form, how far can Holland go? I mean, he looked like the complete player yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, it's good that he was rested before the World Cup finals. But I think the man of the match for me was Iron Robben. I think it's important that Holland keep Robben fit because he ran the Spanish defense ragged. He was just amazing.
Dancing in the box.
Dancing in the box.
For that goal.
Yeah, he toyed with them, didn't he? At a certain point. Or Daryl, Spain, I mean, for all the Spanish fans out there, it must be worrying to see just how lackluster they turned out. Now, anything but world champs.
And you've got to say, Casillas has to put his hands up. I mean, he had a howler of a game. Shocker of a game, sorry. And as captain, he couldn't leave the team also.
He looked like a devastated man. But Daryl, I know you love your stats, so try this one for size, right? Okay. That was the biggest defeat for Spain since they lost 6-1 to Scotland back in the 1952 World Cup in Brazil. Also in Brazil. You like that one, Dan?
Wow, that's great, man.
But Zach, remember in 2010 they lost their first opening match to Switzerland.
Correct.
And they ended up being world champions.
But it wasn't 5-1.
It wasn't 5-1, yeah, but...
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because I was going to bring it up now. Now, back in 2010, they lost their first match, right? Obviously to Switzerland, I believe, 1-0. Now, 1-0 is a bit different from 5-1. Daryl, can they bounce back? I mean, certainly they have to.
I mean, it's still in your hands. I mean, two wins and they're there already. I mean, they were looking good until the whole Van Persie and the whole cavalry charge second half. And I would say, they'll stay in it. They stay in it.
Okay. Well, last mention on poor Spain there, Brian. Bad day at the office, you reckon? Or did Del Bos get it all wrong? Bad day at
the office. Del Bos is going to have a tough time getting his team back on track again. But, the bright side is they've got Australia. I think that's 3 points in the bag, barring a huge upset.
Yeah.
And they've got Chile. Chile game for Spain is going to be of vital importance.
Okay.
But you got Chile first, though. That's the thing.
Well, obviously Chile looked good yesterday.
Fantastic.
But I want to give a brief shout out before we go to the break about the Group A match between Mexico and who were they playing yesterday? Cameroon, of course.
Yeah.
So many football matches already. Anyway, I want to mention Mexico because that lad Peralta. Now we saw him, right, Daryl, in the Olympics. He shone then. He was a match winner. He turned out to be the match winner again. Now this kid, how good do you think he's going to be?
Well, with the Mexicans, I guess it's on the big stage they always tend to shine. But we'll wait to see them in the proper leagues. We just have to wait. But this is tournament. I guess this is the man to look out for.
Yep.
But and Santos, what happened, man?
Well, he kept getting offside is what happened. But anyway, Brian, before we go to the break, quick mention for Chile now. Another sterling performance. Maybe it got lost after the Spain debacle, but brilliant performance.
Yeah, Australia were dogged opponents. In fact, they had their chances too, but I think Chile, worthy winners of this match. Bear in mind, they were third in their South American qualifiers. So they are a team to be reckoned with, you know.
Fantastic stuff. Well, I tell you what, the World Cup, I'm already loving it. We're going to go to a little break. When we come back, we're going to be previewing tonight's matches. We've got 4 matches to talk about, so keep it locked right here on Football Every Day.
All in or nothing. It's a battle cry. A call to arms. The only way to live. The only way to play. It fuels them into battle. They step onto the field wearing war paint. Unleashing speed, energy and control. Bearing the marks of those that know there is only one way. Hunt or be hunted. Fear or be feared. Evolve or die. Black or white.
Hello there, welcome back to Football Everyday. Right, tonight we got 4 matches to look forward to. Don't you just love the World Cup? But before we get into tonight's matches, just another few more points about last night's amazing game. You know, game of the tournament last night. Holland getting their mood on, smashing Spain 5-1. Now, lads, I don't know whether you noticed this, but halfway through the second half, Spain gets a free kick just outside the Dutch wall. The referee's lining up the wall, and he produces a spray can and proceeds to draw a line. And tells the players, you know, stand behind that line. Now, Bright, mate, I mean, we've seen walls encroach for years, right? All the World Cups, we've seen this happen. Now, what do you think about this spray can business? It's a new one for me.
First of all, I think it's a good move by FIFA. I would assume it's dissolvable spray, right? Paint, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And you're right. I mean, every time there's a free kick lined up, you see the defense moving up. So in this way, the referee can actually say, this is exactly 10 yards, lad. Don't go beyond that.
The funny thing is, it worked the dream, because, you know, once you have the line, then no one encroaches. So, I thought he was going to mace the young myself. But then again, okay, Darryl, last point about that match. Now, Costa, we knew going in he was going to get some sort of treatment from the Brazilian crowd, and so it proved. Now, what do you think about the booing of Diego Costa?
I mean, you could see Brazilian fans. I mean, wearing the Brazilian.
It affected him, though.
The Brazilian fans were all wearing the yellow together with the Dutch fans. I mean, obviously Brazilian fans were booing him, but I think he had he had a good half an hour at first. I mean, I would say, and then it all just went a little bit pear-shaped for Costa.
Poor old Diego Costa.
But, did Brazil actually want him?
Yeah. That's the thing. Well, anyway, a day to forget for Diego Costa. Well, we're going to move on to tonight's matches. I'll tell you what, it's going to be a bumper-packed night's worth of football. No sleep till Brooklyn. We got Colombia versus Greece. We got Uruguay versus Costa Rica. The massive one, England versus Italy. Of course, that's happening at 3 a.m. Followed by a very early morning breakfast surprise between Ivory Coast and Japan. Now, obviously, lads, the pick of the bunch has to be a big one between England and Italy. Now, before we get into our chat, let's hear from the Italian ambassador to Malaysia, His Excellency Mr. Mario Sammartino.
Both teams are very, very good. Let's not forget that both of them can go ahead regardless to the result of the match. I'm very confident that Italy can perform well. We have very experienced players like Pirlo, who is very well known, together with very young ones like Verratti, and a player who knows very well England because he has been in Premier League, which is Mario Balotelli. I'm sure that the match will be very, very good, very nice, and of course I hope that Italy will be the winner.
Fantastic stuff there. Thank you, Mr. Mario Sammartino. Obviously, you're going to be looking forward to the massive match between England and Italy tonight, as are we. Now, Brian, mate, I mean, this is the one we've been looking forward to. Now, going into this tournament, it's a different kind of vibe for England. With zero expectancy. Could this work in England's favour? No hype this time around.
Yeah, no hype. I have my doubts. Like, you know, coming to this match, Hodgson has come out and said that he's going to stick with the tried and trusted. Unfortunately for England, the tried and trusted hasn't really worked. You're looking at Lampard, Rooney, Gerrard.
Yeah, the golden generation.
The golden generation, they haven't really worked. You know, for England to get anything out of this match, you need a big moment from someone like Wayne Rooney.
Okay.
Lest we forget, horrible major tournaments.
Yeah.
You know, he hasn't really performed.
Yeah, ever, really? You know, come the big tournament, we don't see Wayne Rooney. Well, Darryl, obviously you're looking forward to this game because it's a bit of a Liverpool connection, especially in midfield. Now, how well do you think England are going to gel with so many Liverpool players in the team? It's got to help them, right?
I mean, with the problem in England right now is, I mean, if you were facing a defensive Italy, I mean, England would have basically had more chance. But this Italian team has so many playmakers.
Yeah.
I mean, very gifted. They're attacking. I mean, this is a very different Italian side than the ones that we used to know. I mean, it's like this is one is going to attack England, and that's why I'm pretty worried about the midfield and the defense for England.
Well, you know, all eyes are on that Liverpool boy Raheem Sterling. Now, the word on the street is that he may take up that number 10 role, pushing Rooney to left wing, perhaps. Would you agree with that?
I was hoping that Hodgson will actually start with Sterling and Chamberlain, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. You know, add a little bit of pace up front for England. But knowing Hodgson, he will probably start with someone like Ricky Lambert, or Welbeck, Wayne Rooney definitely. Wayne Rooney is not going to be dropped. Give Sterling a chance, especially in the first game. Let him show what he can do.
Yeah. Well, you know, England with all the young players, very attractive proposition. But, you know, Darryl, to stop Italy, you got to stop that man, Pirlo, of course. Now, what can England do to nullify Pirlo's threat? Because he's going to be pulling all the strings, right?
I mean, he'll be all over the pitch. I mean, I'm just kind of worried. I mean, can England last the pace to actually catch up with him? With that whole the heat in the Amazon.
I think they need Park Ji-sung to be marking
Yeah.
Pirlo. I remember from Fergie's book. But you know, if we remember the Euros, it was the most one-sided 0-0 between these two teams. Now, Pirlo pulled all the strings then, Darryl. What can England do to stand on him for this game, you know?
I mean, they're not going to resort to kicking him. So I guess it's going to be the case that basically England has to basically press up front, do the whole, I mean, like the whole little...
the Liverpool way, really?
The whole, Gary Neville leaked the whole game plan. I mean, just go for it.
Yeah.
And that's the way to go.
Well, you know, thanks to Gary, we all know that England were thinking high tempo. And high tempo is probably the way to go in this. So you agree with that, Brian?
Yeah, I agree with Darryl. I think what Hodgson's going to do is flood the midfield. Rooney will play like a deep-lying centre forward, basically like an extra midfield player. So they have 5 in midfield, and that's going to constrict the Italian midfield. Probably start with someone like a big target man like Welbeck or Lambert up front. Whether it'll work or not, it's a different story.
Well, just before we move on, I just want to press you guys for a score prediction this one, man. What do you think?
I'm going for 2-1 Italy.
2-1 Italy, huh?
It's going to be 1-1.
1-1, huh? Well, you know, 1-1 would not be the end of the world. I think it's paramount not to lose this first game. Okay, well, moving on. Uruguay, of course, are also in action tonight. Now, they're playing Costa Rica. Now, going into the match, your man Luis Suarez, he had fitness concerns, but apparently he's 100%. So, how do you see Uruguay shaping up for their opening
Uruguay
match?
basically just, I mean, they've been looking at the fact that they want the World Cup. I mean, it's like, I mean, why not? I mean, Suarez on form, he can basically just take the whole Uruguay team all the way. And with Costa Rica, I mean, I don't know, they're kind of like the dark horses. I mean, like, where would you want to put them in this equation, in this group?
Well, you know, the people would say whipping boys, Brian, but, you know, I mean, I think they got something about them. You know, they've got to the World Cup.
Whipping boys, and I would agree. Whipping boys. You got the two most, probably the most wanted strikers in world football up front, Suarez and Edison Cavani. I don't see any other result but going Uruguay's way. Okay,
good stuff. Well, you know, we got a very lovely breakfast treat in the shape of Ivory Coast versus Japan. Now, I love the Blue Samurai, Darryl. Do you fancy them, mate?
Well, let's celebrate the first real Asian team starting off the tournament, not Australia.
Not Australia.
Not Australia. I would fancy Japan.
Yeah.
Why not?
I mean, don't forget, you know, they have a lot of players that like currently plying their trade in Europe. You know, the likes of Honda, Kagawa. You know, decent team. Well, what do you think about the Ivory Coast? Now, everyone rates out of the African contingent, everyone rates the Ivory Coast.
Yeah, they've got some, like exactly what you said. They have a lot of European-based players, the Torre brothers, and of course Didier Drogba up front. I mean, any team with Drogba up front, you have to rate.
Okay, brilliant stuff. Well, lads, we can carry on this chat, but alas, we have run out of time. Just want to give our competition a quick shout out again. Tell you what, stand yourself to win some Adidas merchandise worth up to 800 ringgit, plus some dining vouchers from Sold Out. Just send us your wacky and creative video selfies of you and your pals enjoying the World Cup. Entries can be submitted by email to football@thestar.com.my. Alternatively, you can also tweet us at switchup.tv. Okay, that's us done for today. See you tomorrow. Until next time, enjoy your football.